Hey.
There's been so much interest in the economic boom that's been happening in Jamaica, both on the investment side and also as a place to move to. Let me tell you about a conference that might help you with this stuff. ThropX is a 5-day Jamaica investment conference that takes place from November 13th to November 17th at the beautiful Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, Jamaica. This includes 2 full days of expert panel presentations on all aspects of moving to and investing in Jamaica. This includes the brightest minds in the Jamaican real estate market, certified financial advisors from the most prestigious financial groups in Jamaica, banking professionals from the most esteemed banking institutions in Jamaica, among others. If you are thinking about moving to Jamaica, this conference is the perfect opportunity to have direct access to not only individuals who have achieved your dream of moving to Jamaica, but you'll also be among like-minded conference goers who are also trying to move to Jamaica. In addition, there will be 1 full day dedicated to touring both residential and commercial real estate for sale in the greater Negril area to give you a tangible idea of the real estate landscape in Jamaica. There will be exclusive properties for sale on this tour that you will not find listed anywhere else. If you are even remotely considering moving to or investing in Jamaica, this is the conference for you. This is the best way to dip your toe in the water of figuring out whether Jamaica is the right place for you to invest and to live. For more information, please visit ThropX.com and join our mailing list. I look forward to seeing you in November. Hello, afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday live stream. Like I always say, I love doing these things. And today we have a special one because we actually have a guest in-house and in studio. But as usual, please let me know where you're chiming in from, what city, what state, what country. Always like to hear that. And if you were on the community page, you know that we have Noel Phillips in the building today. So I just want to take the opportunity to welcome you, Noel.
Hi, guys.
Hope everybody can hear us because I have no headphones on. So if you can't hear me, let me know. But I don't even have the mixer near me, so we tested everything. So hopefully everything stays cool. So yeah, this was impromptu. Noel happened to be in town, so we decided just let's chop it up a little bit. And of course, I don't think I sent this out in an email as yet, but Noel is officially going to be a speaker again this year at ThropX 2023, which you just saw the trailer for from November 13th to November 17th. So it should be another good one. So yeah, it's your first time in the studio, right?
Yeah, it's really nice. I was wondering where you did this live stream. Like
Yeah.
I was walking around the hotel and I'm trying to figure out where it was, but it's nice. First time in the studio.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So today, I mean, for the most part, I just want to talk a little bit about ThropX at some point, and then also just kind of get an update on just real estate in general. Well, not in general. I say particularly on that side of the island in Kingston, where you came in from. But I guess the first thing I guess we can hop into is like what we were just talking about, which is Negril, and the inventory here, which everybody in the community already knows is very low. But I think I was talking about this on Sunday. And like I would say the last month, maybe 6 weeks, I've had more people than ever before either DM me, send me an email, or physically come in and sit down and speak with me about investing in real estate in Negril.
Yeah.
They're looking for apartments to purchase. They're looking for homes to purchase. Mostly, I would say mostly, like 90% when I say mostly, are looking for turnkey solutions and turnkey investment opportunities. And there is virtually nothing. Virtually nothing.
Yeah. For many years, I think Negril was just the beach. So everybody came for the beach. And those who wanted to stay built. And now you have a lot more people who have come, who came to visit. And just I mean, speaking to a couple of the persons from ThropX last year, who actually came to Negril for the first time, or persons who have been coming and just decide I really would like to stay in Negril,
Mhm.
whether long-term rental or to own property in Negril to be able to retire in Negril. And then, as you rightfully say, the inventory is not there. And
Great.
Negril kind of has its own personality. Like I was driving down just now, and I'm driving down from Kingston. I mean, North Coast is nice, but Negril has a personality that once you get into Negril, even before you see the sign, it's a change of mood, the change of scenery. Negril is a total different landscape. So I think once the real estate product in Negril starts to develop, I think it's going to blow a lot of other areas out of the water.
One thing I'm realizing is that I didn't introduce you. So,
I'm Noel
right,
Phillips.
please go through the whole spiel, who you are and what you do for a living.
So my name is Noel Phillips, and I am a real estate agent. I'm a realtor. Um, I think a little over 10 years now. I really love real estate, and I love Jamaica. And then I get to sell Jamaica. So it's a dream job for me, you know what I mean? Getting to drive around the island and just meeting people and watching the process of a sale close, or somebody acquiring with a investment property, or the first time buyers buying a home. It's one of the most fulfilling things that you can be engaged in. And so, I mean, it's like doing something that you love. You never work a day in your life. You know what I mean?
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah,
awesome. And just so everybody knows, we met maybe 2 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Little
just
under.
just a little under 2 years, just ad hoc.
Had
We
absolutely no idea this is what it was. It's funny. Like I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about you, and they were asking how did our relationship, kind of spark. And I was saying, the funny thing is, it was never intended that way.
right.
So when we met at Cafe Blue last year, 2021, was it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
in my head, so when my broker called and said, hey, Noel, there's this guy from Negril, and he's here and he wants to look at some of your properties. So in my head, okay, he wants to shoot some bits. So at the time, there were a lot of Jamaican YouTubers popping up, and they were, videoing your property. That's all they were interested in at the time. And so we started that conversation there. So initially, I was, have this property here, have this here, have this here. And I don't know, it kind of just flow into what's going on in the market, where things headed, why is real estate blowing up so much in Kingston, where are the next areas that are going to be developed. And, as I said, the rest is history.
Pretty much, pretty much. And here we are. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey so far. And like I've been saying, like this is, I feel like, just the beginning, man.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
just the beginning on so many
Absolutely.
things.
And I think on so many fronts, like the other day I was watching this video of, I think it was Kenya. Um, and there's so many billionaires being just unearthed in Africa out of real estate.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at this guy who's probably in his mid 40s, and he's a billionaire. And I mean, people are beginning to see all across the world. And the funny thing is, even in Jamaica, because I have friends who are older, who I knew for many years would invest in real estate, but a lot of Jamaicans would go to Florida. So a lot of people, when they look at investing in real estate, it was always North America. It always, well, if you're doing well in Jamaica and you have your home, if you're doing well enough, the next thing to do is to buy an apartment or a home in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But as I think as people are more educated on the benefits of real estate and real estate investment, and it mushrooms out now, it's happening in a lot of other locals. You know what I mean? So as I said, I was watching this video, and it was just talking about the real estate development in Africa and how the kind of wealth that it's creating. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking that I think Jamaica is still in its infancy.
For
You know what I mean?
sure, for sure.
One of the things that I think about, I was sharing with somebody the other day, and I was saying, so it's estimated that whether first or second generation, it's estimated that there's 3 million people here, and it's estimated another, say, 3 million Jamaicans in the diaspora, whether first or second generation. And I was saying, can you imagine if 10% of those persons decide to come back home, right? If 300,000 Jamaicans decide they want to come back home, we don't have enough real estate. You're talking about nigger inventory. We don't have no inventory for that. You know what I
Right.
mean? When you look at somewhere like Paradisia that was just developed, that just started, and a lot of those on the north coast, the areas that are already developed and are desired, a lot of times these developments are sold in the dirt.
Mm.
You know what I mean? By the time roof is on, I know a lot of people now are trying to get into Paradisiac and are not able to. A lot of other development on the north coast persons. By the
Sorry,
time people hear about them, they're
I don't know
gone.
about that. Can you tell us
So
about that?
Paradisiac is a development. It's similar to, well, not similar. It's well similar in the sense that it's a large residential development on the north coast. It's close to Richmond Estate.
Mhm.
The design is a little bit more contemporary than the traditional architecture of Richmond Estate. It's almost diagonal to reach the position. It's on the ocean side.
Okay, I think I'm seeing
Um,
it now. Okay, cool.
but but people are flying down just
Oh
to look
yeah,
at
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
did see this. Okay, okay.
yeah. So so by the time persons hear about them, a lot of time they're gone.
Gone already.
You know what I mean? And as I say, I think, you know, I mean, if you have to be careful sometimes what you listen to and who you listen to,
Mm-hmm.
because outside of negatives that happen everywhere, there are a lot of good things happening to Jamaica and a lot of good things happening in Jamaica. And the Jamaican economy has been doing well for quite a while now. And because of that, there are a lot of Jamaicans who, never used to consider wanting to come back home who are now considering. Um, a lot of Jamaicans who, and I talk about this all the time, scratch record now, but a lot
Mm-hmm.
of Jamaicans are investing in real estate more heavily. You know what I mean? I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who is looking to retire now. She's in her mid 40s and she's looking to close on her fifth property.
Wow.
Yeah. And these are working class people. These are people
Mm-hmm.
who are just smarter. You know what I mean? People who opt to buy a second or a third home as opposed to the flashy car. You know what I mean? As opposed to show that you arrived with a fan. I don't want to call it a car name,
Mm-hmm.
but as opposed to showing that you have arrived with a nice car, a lot of people are now opting to keep the old car and buy a third or fourth or fifth property. You know what I mean? So, um, with all of that, I still think that the real estate market in Jamaica is in infancy. I still think that there's a lot of growth and growth potential and potential for wealth creation that still exists.
Yeah. Like if you think about when we say hasn't reached its potential and we're in these infancy stages, like even from an infrastructure standpoint,
Yeah,
we just have so far
yeah,
to go.
yeah.
Like when you just visit even other developing countries,
Mm-hmm,
are countries who have come, from one stage of
mm-hmm,
development to another,
mm-hmm.
and you see just like there's a lot of complaints lately about potholes and roads here in Jamaica, which is
Yeah,
taking the news by storm. Um, they you see like it's you kind of see and maybe feel like it's peaking
yeah,
because like so much has gone into it. But
yeah.
then when you look at Jamaica and all these things that we complain about, like even in the grill, like complaining about the garbage not being picked up, we're complaining about the potholes not being fixed and just the terrible roads that we have. Certain just basic services that are just really not up to par and up to standard. To me, these are all opportunities, and these
That's
are
right.
things that
That's right.
will eventually be
That's right.
fixed, and that we the people should and are pushing for.
That's right.
And like that in itself is just getting these basic things down that we rightfully do complain about. Like once we get to that level, it's just going to make the value of this country and of the real estate that much more.
Exactly, and that's a very good point. Um, somebody said to me some years ago that people get wealthy when they solve problems.
There you go.
So if you see a problem, you could either complain about it or you could try to be a part of the solution. Many years ago, I have this brethren who is Scottish, and I remember years, I know Andrew like 10, 15 years ago. And I remember some time ago there was this debate that was going on in Jamaica, and it was whether or not Jamaica was ready for independence or whether we should have stayed under the crown. And a lot of the locals were saying boy, we're never ready, and we should have stayed as a part of the British colony. And Andrew said something that was really enlightening to me. And he said, what was all of these nations doing, and where were they when they were 40, 20, 30, 50 years old? I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. Because you're comparing Jamaica to New York. How old is New York as a city? I mean, you're comparing Kingston to New York, and you're comparing, I mean, Jamaica as an independent nation is what, 61?
Mm-hmm.
And you're comparing a city that was being built like for 300 years. And sometimes we're not comparing apples with apples. So because we're still growing and because there's so much room for improvement, it's not just a problem, but as you rightfully say, it's also an opportunity. You know what I mean? If there is a garbage collection problem in Negril, it's probably an opportunity for somebody to buy 10 garbage trucks and have a contract with the local government authorities about picking up garbage and whatever. And in a lot of cases, that's how a lot of great companies are born. And there's a lot of great business ideas are born. You know what I mean?
And as we were opening up and talking about the inventory here in the grill and the lack thereof, I should say, somebody's gonna come solve that problem.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna happen. We
Yeah.
were just also talking about maybe I could be, or we could be like the victims of our own success in terms of like promoting the grill and like letting this problem be well known. Like I said, so many people are coming in here now, and I was even talking to somebody today, a subscriber, and also somebody who came to ThropX last year. She was down here, or is down here, with a group of people, and they're all looking for apartments and looking for places to rent and to buy. And she's showing them and telling them, giving them pretty much the same speech that I give here about what is available. And they're just like, it's just like, what do we do? What do we do? So, I mean, I do, maybe there is, based on the
there's definitely things coming, but
Right.
one thing I think about, like I was driving to Negril just now, is that one of the things that is so unique about Negril is the fact that it is still almost a sandbar of its potential.
Mm-hmm.
So one, Negril is unlike any other coastal area in Jamaica, which is Negril is known for beach. So Negril is a beach, really.
Right.
And Negril has been popular and well known and well sought after and well desired before the infrastructure came. You know what I mean? Before the hotels were here, before there was any inventory at all. When persons, like I was watching the interview with the lady that owns the massage parlor on
Jackie. Yeah.
And she was just sharing that when she came to Jamaica, all was there was the land. She just pitched a tent and lived in the tent. That was fascinating. And then built her business around the tent. So Negril is so attractive and pulling that even without the infrastructure, you know what I mean? People still want to come.
I could tell you right now, like, that's the gift and the curse of this place, because it's been like that. And because it's been like that, like the interest has just been there, like almost automatically without doing anything. We continue to do nothing.
Yeah, and
like,
do well.
Right. And
Exactly.
then there is no investment of any substantial investment by the government. And please, anybody point to something that if I'm wrong,
that's true.
But there is nothing, because we're doing well under, I would say, some of the worst circumstances.
Exactly.
And we get forgotten about, and we get just really just taken for granted. And it's bad, and I was talking to even guests say that, like, people that I've encouraged to come here, they were just so disappointed in just how the makeup of the town and just how just unkept it is. They're very disappointed in the roads. If you go to, I mean, I hate to say this, Rick's Cafe is one of the most popular places in all of Jamaica, and
in the world.
One of the most popular places and bars in the entire world. And the road to get there,
it's terrible.
It's crazy. It's falling apart. There's another, and I hate to talk bad about my own town, but this is just the reality of the situation.
I understand that.
And there's literally a hole. If I can find it, I'll show it. On Nampro Road, there is like a sinkhole that has developed, and I think 3 or 4 drivers have wrecked their cars in it because they put up like a steel pole just to let people know to watch out. So it's like these sort of things that like I really understand people's frustration. And then, you know, even you as a local who is walking around, maybe driving around and been here for the last 2 years, and you seeing all this tourism activity and these economic events that continue to happen. And then you just sit and scratch your head. Like, how is all these people here? They continue to come, they're buying drinks, restaurants, spending money, and then there is nothing being put back into the pot. And so that's what I said. That's what I mean when I say that it is a gift and a curse, but that is the reality though.
But you know, the funny thing is, like, as a real estate investor and as a realtor, I don't see things that way. Because one other thing I was sharing with somebody the other day, and they were complaining about the boom or the mushrooming of real estate development in Kingston, and how the infrastructure is going to be overload. And I was sharing that, listen, government infrastructure hardly ever, well, I know for Jamaica, most places in the world, hardly ever precedes private sector development, private sector investment. The road widening has to come. The road widening is going to come. The water main, all of those things will come. As an investor and as a real estate developer, if you wait until then you're going to regret it, because you're not going to be able to afford it. So when I come to Negril, I see the things that you're talking about, but I also see that it has to happen.
Right.
It's just a matter of who's going to do it and when it's going to be done. The question is, do you have the vision enough to be able to say, all right, I want to develop, I want to buy, I want to own, but I need to do it now. I was talking to a cousin of mine over the weekend gone, and he was talking about the same Richmond Estate property. And when it was just being developed, he had the opportunity to buy, but at the time it was the underdevelopment of that kind on the North Coast there. And most of the things that are on the North Coast, now the widening, the highway wasn't done yet. So you still had to drive Mount Russell and the bad road and the traffic. At that time, it was like under $15 million. I think like $13 million. The same house now, it's for like 450,000 US dollars. So for those persons who success rewards the brave, so for those persons who had the vision of knowing, eventually the road has to be widened. Eventually the road has to be fixed. We're a young nation, we're a growing nation. They will be able to be the ones now who have made 400% profit. Because as I always say, government infrastructural development always trail private sector investment. That's just how it is. The government, hardly ever you're going to have a government, and especially in a third world nation or a developing nation like Jamaica that has tight, limited budget. To say you're going into an area and you're going to spend, 100 million US dollars to develop or expand infrastructure that is not yet demanded or required. We have limitations, and that's how I look at it. So as an investor, and as somebody who is interested and understand how real estate works, it does not deter me from seeing the value and the potential value and seeing the potential return on an area. Say all of that to say that because Negril is not at that place yet, now is the prime time to get. Now is the prime time to buy land. Now is the prime time to get what you are interested in. Because guess what? When you get, in a few years, when you get to the Negril sign and there's a 4-lane super highway coming all the way to downtown, by that time, you probably won't be able to afford anything here.
Right.
And it has to happen. This is Negril, you know what I mean? Just like it had to happen for the North Coast, just like eventually we had to do an Old Harbor bypass, just like we had to do a North Coast highway. So I think all of those things are inevitable to happen. Just like I remember back in the day, I used to do grocery sales, and when you're driving from Kingston to Mandeville or back. It used to be like sometimes just going through Old Harbor Town was like hours and hours. Sometimes them have street dance in the middle of the night, especially you're coming back at night. Sometimes I remember we were in traffic one night for like 4 hours just trying to get to Old Harbor Town.
Wow.
Literally, just like 4 miles. So as I say, inevitably these things have to happen. So it's just a matter of when. So as a real estate investor, and as a real estate person, professional, I don't see them. I just see them delayed, and I see the opportunity that exists because they're delayed.
I agree, but it's like I guess these last few weeks, couple months or whatever, like I'm like, man, I'm presenting this information as an opportunity, which it rightfully so is, but then it's also the realization that though this is an opportunity, and it's mostly like when I think about my community and the makeup of the people who are part of it, it's mostly people who are looking for an opportunity to invest in like a home, an
Okay.
apartment.
Mhm.
And but what I think we need is either, and they were talking about this in the chat the other day, but a formulation of investors, like
Okay.
because they even wanted, I forget who it was. If you're in the chat today, please let me know. But somebody was like, "Hey, let's form a group together of investors to pool our money to do a development." And so I think it's like that's almost. I feel like I need to shift my messaging and shift who I'm like kind
Yeah.
of reaching out to
Yeah.
is to groups like that. And then the other one is just like an already established
Yeah.
investment
Because we
group.
were talking about that at ThropX last year. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Some of the things that the opportunity. I mean, I was looking the other day. I was driving on Constant Spring Road, and I remember sharing with an older realtor friend of mine. I think he's retired now, and I was saying that I heard there are whispers that Constant Spring Road will be widened.
Mm.
Now, Constant Spring Road was one of the worst places in Jamaica to be
Yeah.
caught in traffic. It was 2 lanes from I think Dunrobin, the end of Dunrobin Avenue, all the way up to Manor Park, and that's probably like 2 miles, and that could take you like 4 or 5 hours, especially on a rainy day like today.
Jeez.
I remember saying to him, "It's going to happen," and he was saying, "It's impossible. There's too many private properties that would have to be cut off, too much land that would have to be acquired, and it just seemed like it couldn't happen, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
And when it did, commercial property on Constant Spring Road, residential property on Constant, everything just doubled and tripled." And I was saying, it had to happen.
Right.
So those who bought, I remember like Lower Constant Spring, like Manor Park, Lower Stone Hill, those areas. As a realtor, we used to approach developers to say, "Here, there's land here cheap," and some bought and put it down. Some was not interested because of the traffic. And as soon as the road was announced, even before it started construction, the property values just skyrocketed. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say these things have to come. And as I said, we're a young nation, and I understand the frustration when you're driving on the road and your car hit the pothole. That instant frustration is there,
Right.
and you want, and especially if you're somebody who is traveling and you're comparing it to the first world nation who has, almost unlimited budget to fix their roads. But as I said, it has worked for me as a method, especially
Mm-hmm.
when it comes down to investment. And if you are looking to invest in an area that is not yet developed, just try to get yourself informed, because some of these things have to come.
Right.
They have to come.
Right. I agree. Let me get to some of the comments here. Just say hello to everybody. What's going on, Phil? Nice to see you. Julia for Justice says, Throp, I saw you being interviewed at the donkey races. So exciting. Love the vibe. I recognize my scuba instructor / Ivan's waiter too. Awesome. Hello, Yvonne. Thanks for joining. Hey, what's going on, Dale? Andrew Blake. Good to see you. Tisha Amoy chiming in from Florida. Nice to have you as usual. Hi, Marcia. Jay Fitz says, hi, Throp and fam. Chiming in from Atlanta. Good to see you, Dale Clark. Hello there. Chiming in from Virginia. And Julia for Justice is in Ottawa, Canada. Marissa is chiming in from Silver Spring, Maryland. Awesome. C. Gill, hello from California. Nice to have you. Safi says, love Noel. He's my fave.
Thanks, Jackie.
Safi, sorry.
Sappy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
MDL says, hi, Throp and Throppers, chiming in from Washington, D.C. area. Awesome. Marcia is chiming in from the UK. Very nice. Across the pond. Hi, Natasha. Marcia says, hi, Speaker London in the house. Noel is my little bro.
Thank you.
Forever Eva says, as much as I hate the Kingston real estate prices, I have to say that Noel deserves all the money he's making as he's a great salesman. Andrew says, I'm at home in the grill. Awesome. Good for you, Andrew. Natasha says, please drop your YouTube channel, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Talking about you, Noel. What is your, I guess, some contact information? I can put it. Oh shoot.
Okay. I got that.
You want to say it?
Yeah. So my email address is NOEL Realty. That's REALTY 2.0 at gmail.com. And my phone number and WhatsApp number is 1-876-550-1600.
Okay, so I just put it in the chat, everybody. That's Noel's contact information. So feel free to reach out.
Absolutely.
If you like. All right, let's get back up. What's going on, Shayna? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. All right, so I lost my place. Sorry, 1 second here. Okay, got it back. Natasha. Okay, that was your contact information. Sorry, that's use that contact information, Natasha. I hope that helps. She's asking if you can drop the name of the mid-40 real estate billionaire in South Africa.
I don't remember his name. I could look for it and probably share it in the chat later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ebony X, High Throp, watching from Gambia. Awesome. All the way in Africa, Gambia.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Julia for Justice says, in 1988, I was 18 when I first landed in a grill. No place I have visited since has compared.
Wow.
Scope says, hi, Throp, tuning in from the UK. Awesome. Another one from across the pond. And what's going on? Your everyday lifestyle with Carrie Ann. I think I'm saying that right. Good to see you. TNK, roads are one thing, but water, sewer, and trash are another. Olivia B says, wasn't looking at the grill before. Now I'm considering it. Awesome. That's what we like to hear. I'm going to save this one for Eva. Well, I'm going to come back to that one. She's asking why so many hotels being sold currently in the grill. I can speculate, but we're going to circle back. I'm just going to get through the rest of the comments and we can answer it. Stu Williams says, hey, Throppers. Stu checking in from New York. Awesome. Thanks for joining, Stu. Geraldo watching from the Bronx. BX in the house. Natasha says, hi, all from Atlanta. Denku Wan chiming in from Miami in the building. Raymond, greetings, Throp. Great insight, Noel. Swole D says, email you, Throp. I need contact information for purchasing property / financing. Can definitely help you with that. If you need, obviously, anything realtor, real estate esque, Noel is your man for sure. But yeah, I can help you with that. I'll look for your email. Raymond Bernard says, greetings, Throp. Great insight, Noel. I think I read that already. Sorry. Noel, do you think going through NHT and them renting the property is good? Hold on. Let me pause that. Let me get to the rest of them, and then we can get to these two questions. Todd Duncan says, hey, Throp, hailing from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Good to see you. Sama chiming in from LA. B. Hewitt is in Orlando. Good to see you. Chelsea, how you doing? All right, let's get to these questions. Margaret, good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. All right, let's get to some of these questions. All right, so the first one that I have here is, why are so many hotels currently being sold in the grill? I have my thoughts. Do you have any insight on that?
I kind of think it's just, well, obviously I'm not a hotelier, so
Mhm.
my speculation is two things. I think one is coming out of COVID, a lot of persons got a lot of the small hotels who are run by persons who came to Jamaica and decided that they want to live here, and then they wanted to go in a business that would sustain them, so they bought a hotel. It's a lot of work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then 2 years where a lot of those small hotels weren't doing so well, or some of them had to totally shut down. Coming back from that, like the thought, like it was the first time I was thinking about the fact that you have 20 rooms, 50 rooms, 100 rooms, and even if you're not there, you have to clean them, some mold, or you know what I mean. You have to cut the grass so the place don't look overgrown. So the maintenance, the utilities, like I never thought of that. Like that's holy for money. So there's that. So I think a lot of persons like just didn't bounce back from COVID. Also, there's the advent of the biggest hotel in the world. Airbnb is a serious contender. So, for instance, a lot of persons traveling to a region, and I think Airbnb is opening up back something that a lot of persons complain about when a lot of big chain hotel move in region, which is that you're going on all inclusive and you lose the ability to experience that local area in any personal way because you're
Mhm.
locked into a property, so you don't get to interact with the locals and so on. So a lot of people travel to some areas and they want the ability to just stay on different properties. So that's kind of what I think has affected some of the small hotels, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I concur with that. And at least the hotels that I am thinking of in my head that I've seen for sale recently, and even the one that I'm releasing a video on Saturday, working with
Okay.
Margit actually on Divine Destiny.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's a West End hotel, and similar. I mean, maybe not similar story, but similar story in the sense to others, that it's a property that was owned by a family for an extended period of time. And through a series of just outside factors that were out of their control, the property has shut down
Okay.
and is now being sold. And like when we think back to, I mean, and this stuff matters. Like even going back to 9/11, like a lot of small hotels couldn't recover from that, and they struggled through the early 2000s, and then the financial crisis
That's
hit,
right.
and
Awesome.
then they struggle through
I didn't
that.
realize how close those two things were.
Very close,
Wow.
very close. And then, you get, and I would say, and this is just my personal opinion, like I look at like Negril, I don't think we really recovered from the financial crisis probably until 2013, 2014,
Oh, wow.
honestly. And then even between that gap of 2008 to 2013, you saw that was another period of a lot of hotel turnover,
Okay.
um, between new management, new ownership, outright. And when COVID happened, I was like, I saw this already. I heard this song already, and like, this was going to happen again.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so, just from my business experience that I've had in being I was been in this business like 17 years, and then I was in high school with 9/11, but my dad was telling me about the impact that he knew it was going to have on the business. And so you have these, I would say, existential events that happen, and it really comes down to those companies, hotels that can survive and
That's
weather
right.
those storms.
That's
And
right.
so now you have the post financial crisis, had good, I would say, generally speaking, mid teens were pretty good in terms of for hotels and for Jamaica. But then, then COVID hits. And so and in my mind is like, how fast can you how do you weather the storm, how fast can you recover from those existential threats and risks that happen, and then there's going to be something else again within
Yeah.
10 years. And so going specifically back and answering this question more directly and what's happening with hotels now, then you combine that, what happened with COVID, with also again, long-standing property owners, who've had their properties for a long time, and this is also, I mean, none. Yeah, this is also like kind of a theme of Jamaica as well. What I've seen with certain hotels is that the passing of the the property and ownership to the next
That's
generation,
right. So
and
I was just
having
gonna ask
some
about that.
right, and having some sort of succession plan in
That's right.
place. And I think that that's very important, not just for hotels. I think just for Jamaican businesses
Yeah,
in
that's true.
general. And I remember I took a course in business school. It was a family business course, and it was on succession planning. And they just happened to be offering it while I was in school. And both my younger brothers and my dad flew up for that course, and we took it together. And we learned like a tremendous amount of skills in terms of what we can expect going through this process of transitioning from one generation to another. And we were very, very well prepared. But even still, with that preparation,
Yeah,
there
there's still
was
time.
hiccups, there was teething process, and we went through it as a family. But what I learned and took away most was what I saw with the other families who were part of this course, and
Okay.
specifically like the Latin families.
Okay.
And they were doing like sixth, seventh generation succession planning.
Wow.
And the way that they were set up, their companies and their family businesses, these were like Fortune 500 companies. And they had their constitutions, they have their rules and list of governance, and what you had to do in terms of a requirement to come into the business as a young person, whether it's a cousin or somebody who's in the family who's graduating college. You had to have certain degree, you had to have a certain amount of outside experience. And I don't, I'm sure there are Jamaican companies who are ran very much like that, but it's not the
It's not
norm
widespread
here.
there.
I
That's true.
don't think
That is
so.
true.
And like, this is a big thing that I think, I don't know how we implement it into our culture, but I know their culture, it's like it is embedded. And it was really the Latin families that kind of made up the majority of the makeup of that course that I took. And so I would love to see like a page out of that book be implemented here in Jamaica as a whole, but definitely here in Negril, because we want to keep, I think it's so important that we keep these properties Jamaican owned.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's so important. So, I
But
mean,
that, you know, I just want to touch on the point that you
mm,
made earlier about actually academic training on a subject like that, because I think it's really a big problem here in
mhm.
Jamaica, where you see just awesome companies and great businesses that are operating in one generation, and by the time the founder passes away, then the business begins to fade, or it's just sold. And I think for a lot of Jamaican companies, it's almost that somebody was trying to make a living. It did way better than they thought it would have. And so the succession bit of it is not, because sometimes your eldest son isn't necessarily the best person to run the family business. And a lot of times what you find is that it's automatically inherited, and the person who gets operation isn't, necessarily the best person.
I
And
mean,
you
look,
find a lot of them, a lot of Jamaican business, great businesses dying.
I was like, look at our business. My youngest brother is running our business, our
And
family
that's a
business.
good example.
And it's, I mean, and I did it for yes, 8 years, I guess, since my dad retired. No, sorry, 6 years. My dad retired, and then my brother finished business school, and he took it over from me. But it's just all, and I thank my dad for this. It was he's the one who had the vision, and also had the, I don't know what you call it, but like the ability to let go.
Yeah.
You know,
'Cause that's another
right?
side of it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I trust me, it was whether he wants to admit it or not, it was hard for him, in practice, and like I said, we went through like quite a teething process to make that transition, but it worked out. And I think and even I would say every business and like these Fortune 500 companies that exist today, they went through it too. They
Absolutely.
went through these processes and these succession plannings, and like this is how they form these great multinational 100+ year businesses.
Yeah.
They start off as very
Yeah.
small businesses, but there's somebody in the company, in the family, who has the vision to say, hey, listen, this is not a company just for my life. This is for my great, 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 great
That's right.
grandkids.
That's
And
right.
in 100 years
That's
from
right.
now, travelers and whatever it becomes should be here and outlive me and my brothers.
That's good.
And that's the way we got to think. And like
That's right.
when you think about like even I hope that's not a sore subject, but like even like when you think and look at like Chinese culture,
Yeah.
like they think in terms of dynasty,
That's right.
and they think in like 100-year slots.
Yeah.
And I think us in the West here, many times, I'm generalizing here, but we just think, like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your
That's
10-year
right. That's
plan?
right. That's
And
right.
these guys thinking like, okay, we have a 100-year plan,
That's right.
and they pass on. I mean, Great Wall of China is a great example.
Exactly.
Like it literally went from
That's right.
generation to generation to
Yeah.
generation, like,
Yeah.
and they kept it moving and kept building.
Yeah. That's a very good point, though. A very, very good point.
Let me get into another question. Crypto King says, Noel, do you think going through NHT and them renting the property is good?
Absolutely. Like one of the good things about if you're able to buy property using your NHT alone is that it's going to be the lowest possible interest rate in the market. So interest rates are because of the central bank, pushing up interest rates a little. Real estate interest rates are now like mortgage interest rates are now like about 8.5 to 9%. NHT interest rates going to be like 5% down. So if you use your NHT, let's say you two persons were to do a joint mortgage and buy a $15 million property, which you can get now for two persons, or 16, $17 million, depending on how much cash you're putting in, you're going to have lower monthly payments, and you might find it easier that the property can pay its own mortgage. So especially if you're a young person, I've been deliberate from the last couple of months to whenever I cross paths with young people, persons who are in their teens or their 20s, just start working and they have no interest in real estate at that point of their life, to say, you don't have to want it right now, you know what I mean? Or need it. But if you use, because you just have to be contributing for 1 year, I think, to be eligible. So with your youth and the fact that you don't have to live in there, then buy the property. You know what I mean? You'll have lower monthly payments. You could use the rent or whatever income you make from it to pay the mortgage. And then in 20 years' time, when you're ready, it will be 4 times the value.
All right, good point. Good point. Somebody, just a quick comment. Somebody, Isake says, this is Big Sis Jennifer. Noel is my baby bro, and I must say, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, that's my big sister.
Awesome. Okay, thank you for that, Noel. Somebody, TNK, is asking, I guess this might be for me. In the West End, is there water and sewer? I'm not ready to be totally off the grid. From what I understand, a deep West End, there is no water there coming in from the city, let's say. But that, I think that's another place that's going to be developed really soon. Not really. It's going to be developed because
It is going to be
yeah. I would say like that's almost the biggest potential of Negril, I want to say, is deep West End.
Like the other day when I went up there with you, I
Mhm.
mean, I've been in the grill more times in the last year than 10 years before that. And yeah, but I've actually fallen in love with Negril all over again. But
Awesome.
that's the tip of the country, really,
Mhm.
literally the tip of the country. And just driving around what you guys call deep West End, where the land is still virgin, never been developed, just seeing the sea view that you can get from there. It's if you're off the grid at all, it's not far off the grid. You can drive back to the grid.
Right.
But it's a good place to get property now. It's a good place to get property because I'm actually seeing within the next 5 years that Negril is going to go through some serious infrastructural development. And when that happens, and then it's just like what's happening now in St. Thomas, because of the bad roads, because things like that. You have people who have never gone there, who hardly ever drive that side. So because of that, now the competition to buy property in those areas oftentimes is low. Like, St. Thomas, you could get property, 10% of what the prices are now a few years ago.
Right. 10%. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just showing everybody on the map the Deep West End as
Yeah,
you're
that's right.
talking about it.
So because of that, because you don't have a lot of competition, a lot of persons and then you have families in Jamaica who have been doing this for hundreds of years, just like we were talking about succession planning.
Mhm.
There are people who have used real estate to create wealth in Jamaica over 100 years. So they understand buying some property and leave it for 20 years or 30 years. Buying property. I remember I used to work for this Chinese gentleman, as you were talking about, Chinese families in Jamaica just now. And I was saying to him, at this time, he was like 60s or so. So I was saying to him, why are you still working so hard? Why do you still wake up every morning and open business? And he said, well, if it was for me alone, I would have stopped. But I'm doing this for my grandchildren. He didn't have no grandchildren at the time.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
His kids were still young.
Yeah.
So he's planning for grandchildren that never existed. And so because of that, persons with that vision, they are able to make super gains on their investment. So for instance, the people who are going to buy West End now while it's still off the grid, deep West End, who are going to just go around there, go on this side, the hillside, and just see that awesome view of the sea.
Mhm.
I know that this is going to be developed sometime in the future. And it doesn't matter whether it's 10 years or 20 years time, I'm going to buy this and put on. Somebody can buy 50 acres of land, probably say, for $20 million. And then in 20 years, 1 acre is for 30 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and the funny thing about especially land is that you hardly have to do anything to maintain it. It's
Right.
just sitting there. You know what I mean? So, because of that, as I say, a lot of areas and a lot of places where people say problems or trouble, you can see opportunity. And those who have the ability to see opportunity where other persons see trouble, often the people are able to capitalize greatly on it.
All right. So a few more questions here. TNK says, why don't the real estate websites list sold properties and how much was paid? How can we look up comps?
I don't know. Well, it's we use the MLS system here as well. I think we got our system from Canada, not from the US. But how the system is structured is that comps we're the only ones able to see. There are other ways that you can do it, but you can, like persons who are valuators and so on, the information can be pulled from the titles office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's something. I think it is. I think it is something that on Elan website, you can pay for a subscription that allows you to see those things. So if you definitely want to do that, you can do that. But the system that we use here, the MLS system, you only get to see the comps on the back end, where only the licensed realtors log in. So if you were able to do the comps, then you wouldn't need me. So so call me. That's all you need to do.
Awesome. Okay. Raymond Bernard says, Noel, I missed out on the Richmond investment. Is there a central contact or website for the new residential development?
I'm not sure. I could check because they are doing so well. I don't think they used any real estate companies, and I don't even know if they still have any units there. So I think they might be totally sold out. So I think that was the same thing. A lot of, especially when these beach developments, once they're announced, because there's so many persons, a lot of times we don't realize how many persons are looking and are interested. And once the right product is made available, it just goes like that. And that's why I'm telling persons, like, even here in Negril, I mean, Negril is really an awesome place. Like, as I tell people, whenever I come to Negril, my body just go on vacation mode. You know, no matter what time of the day, my body goes on vacation mode. And I think once that kind of infrastructural development is starting to come, then the property value is going to skyrocket. So I think there are a lot of people, and from, as I said, the website here, a lot of people are getting insight into Negril that just didn't exist before.
Mm-hmm.
Even with a lot of the vloggers who are doing real estate vlogging now, 90% of them are in Kingston. You know what I
Right.
mean? A few in St. Catherine and Manchester. There was nothing in Negril. So before you knew, nobody remembered Negril at all. You know what I mean? So I think now because of that and the information that is going out there and the persons who themselves are, are lovers of Negril and travel here every year, they're just, they're just sitting and waiting. And oftentimes, just like Paradisiac, just like Richmond Estate, just like Draxall, because somebody was telling me yesterday her sister bought Draxall at 8 million, and Draxall is less than 10 years ago, and they're now selling at 45 million, like five times,
Wow, wow, wow.
So a lot of times, as I say, once the right product is made available, then they sell out so fast. So I think once Negril starts to develop like that, it's going to. So what you have to do once you're interested, you have to just keep your ear on the ground. You know what I mean? It's just like Christmas sale. Once it's announced that there are so many persons, and I tell people all the time, we can't take for granted the amount of Jamaicans who are in the diaspora who are doing well, who are doing really well.
All right.
You know what I mean? And don't have to think too hard to buy a property for, $250,000, $500,000,
Maybe that's the advice that we are giving out now, which is put yourself in a position to be able to
Exactly.
take advantage of an
Exactly.
opportunity that does come along.
Exactly.
Because I agree with you. I think, within a short amount of time, like things are gonna pop.
I think so too. And as I say, one other thing that Negril has going for it is that Negril is already established as a destination. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's world known. It's so like you were sharing with me the other day about the beach park that is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So the beach park is coming here. Now, anybody know about the beach park in Montego Bay? It's really fantastic.
Yes.
It's really a nice place. It's really first world. So most of the times in Jamaica, a beach is a beach and a park is a park.
Right.
So you hardly ever have somewhere that you can go to study, to read a book. It's a really nice environment, but there's also the beach.
Yeah.
And so the one, I no disrespect to Montego Bay, but Montego Bay has a really nice beach park on what they call Dumper Beach. It's a nice beach.
Mm-hmm.
It's an average beach.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a beach park?
It can't compare.
The greatest beach in the Caribbean. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Can you imagine a beach park on the 7 Mile White Sand Beach of crystal blue water in Negril? You know what I mean? So by the time those things come, by the time all of those things are put in place, it's going to be a killing. So I think there are people just like Hawks. I just, already position themselves who are just waiting,
Mm-hmm.
as you say, for the inventory to come. And once those things are announced, once they happen. So if you're not looking, so if as Winthrop just said, positioning yourself, if you have not sought out your finances already, by the time developments like that are announced and you're just reaching out to your bank or you're just trying to get the line of credit on your house to buy, it's probably going to be too late.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there are 100 persons who have already done that, who have cash, and they're just going to fly down and just pay their deposit and fly back up the next day. And, in a week, 2 weeks, it's going to be over.
I'd say people I've met 2 sets of people in the last 2 weeks who flew down specifically to Negril to find something.
Yeah.
Specifically. And they came basically trying to get some insight. But I tell everybody here, what I know is what you know. And so I tell you all what I know. And if there is opportunity, I share it. I share it in our email newsletter as well. And so there wasn't much difference I could tell them. I kind of reiterated, pointed them in their direction depending on what they were looking for. And that was the best I can do. But yeah, I guess what we're saying now is just really, put yourself in a position within the year or two to be able to either buy outright, because somebody is going to do a development.
Has to.
It has to, because the demand is just too great. So the demand is just too great. All right, let's continue with some more questions here. Alfonso Blake asks, "Good day. Could you do a program on succession planning?" Sure. I think that's well needed. Thank you for the suggestion. We will do that. Kenroy Thomas says, "The government has awesome plans for a Nauru. which will be game changing. Do you know what that is?
Or
Nauru, Nehru.
I think he probably was trying to say Negril.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Yeah, probably. All right. So I thought that was something that I did in a place that I never heard of,
So
but
that
Negro.
definitely
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
I was wondering where Nauru was. That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
somewhere in Mexico.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. I think he's reiterating the same thing that we're saying here. Andrew Blake says, "Hi Noel. Aside from the grill, what new areas are growing rapidly in price?"
One of the areas that we talk about a couple of times, and that is still um is St. Thomas. The problem now is that those who have land in St. Thomas, so there's one development that is just Sun Coast development that's just broke ground. There are a couple others that I know that are in the pipeline that haven't come to market yet. The thing about it now is that everybody's calling me trying to buy land in St. Thomas, but nobody who has land in St. Thomas is selling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
funny thing is, like just before the highway was announced and all of that, you could get lands like just so cheap in St. Thomas. So that's what I was talking about when I was saying that you have to be able to see the vision. You have to see it. Like, as I said, the inventory in St. Thomas, as regards market inventory, is now very low. Prior to the highway, it was very high and the demand was very low.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's St. Thomas. I mean, Jamaica, I said this before, but Jamaica itself is building out. So there are places like we had that the realtor, the lady on a few weeks ago, and she was talking about White House.
Yeah.
So that's another area.
Mara.
And
Yeah.
I think there's another hotel that's supposed to come out. And it depends on what you're looking for too, because like White House is a nice, quiet place to
Yes.
relax or to visit if you're not in the hustle and bustle like like the North Coast can be sometimes. White House is a very quiet place. St. Elizabeth side is very quiet. So it's a matter of what you're looking for. But yeah, I think on everybody's tongue now and the expectation of what is coming is really in the grill.
Okay, looks like we got a few follow-up questions here. David asks, "Hi Noel, any plans for new housing development in Junction St. Elizabeth?"
I don't know of housing development, and one of the things that I find does well. I remember the same guy that's doing the development now in White House had done a development in the grill in St. Elizabeth, Manchester, thereabout. I find that a lot of the persons who buy in St. Elizabeth side want to build. You know, so I don't know. I don't know of any, to answer your question, I don't know of any housing developments that are planned. And I don't know if the appetite is changing as well, because sometimes with successive generations, not everybody wants to get in the mud and get into. And I find persons on that side, the persons in Manchester and St. Elizabeth, often used to want to build themselves. They want to design their homes themselves and
Right.
build themselves. So most of what was sold that side was land. But it could be a case now that that has changed. So you might have something in the future, but as regards right now, I don't know if any.
B. Hewitt asks, "What's going on with Trelawney?"
But Trelawney, I think the natural spillover coming from the North Coast development is rolling into Trelawney. I think as regards that side, then the tip of the spear is really Ocherius, and then the building up from Ocherius. There's still a lot of beautiful areas in Trelawney. I find that a lot more villas than gated communities, like private villas, are done in Trelawney, as opposed to the high density developments like in Saint Anne. But I'm sure that it will continue because there's only so much land on the coast coming in from Saint Anne that inevitably it will be pushed into Trelawney.
And somebody's asking the same thing. Any word on St. Elizabeth? The only thing I heard on that is the highway coming there.
Yeah. So I think
but
that is also going to open up because, like, the highway originally, I think, was intended to go all the way to Manchester, and it had stopped in Maypen. So when that opens up, we're going to make the commute. Because there are persons who live in Mandeville now who gets into Kingston before somebody who's in Kingston get to work. And that's nice. So I think now when you're going to have the highway that is going to all the way from Manchester into Ferry Highway, it's going to open up a lot more development for working class persons who are not necessarily coming into Kingston, because that strip is developing now in a way that the small towns are now growing too. So one of the things that you're also finding is that there are persons who live in Portmore that goes to Mapen to work. Normally it was everybody coming into Kingston.
Right.
So you'll find people who live in Mapen who goes to Manchester to work. People who live in Manchester goes to Mapen. People who live in Spanish Town or Portmore that goes to Clarendon to work. So if that highway is going to open that entire corridor. So I know, like for Clarendon now, I know actually somebody from the conference last year is going to be doing a 400 unit development of Maypen.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
ThropX really did some great things last year. Some amazing seeds were sown last year. Like, I think the reach of it, we don't realize it. But I think ThropX kind of really opened up a total cross section of potential investment and business ideas and stuff that also is in its infancy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agreed. I think let's take a quick break. Just because we got to make that phone call. We have Noella working on a project, and we might have a meeting that we gotta skedaddle to. So I'm just gonna make a quick phone call to see if that is happening. I'm gonna play a quick commercial of some sort. So what we're gonna do? Let's do the Negril Cottages. This is 5 minutes. Okay, we'll be back momentarily. Sorry if you've already seen this. We got to get some new commercials up. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the tour today. And we're going to be taking a look at the newly renovated bungalows, or otherwise now known as the cottages, which we've gone through about half of them so far. And we're looking at cottages number 4 and 8 at this time. And this is just a view of the balcony. We changed the entrance from being in the middle. And so if you are familiar with the property, there used to be an entrance for 2 rooms in one of these bungalow housing structures. And now each bungalow, each room has their own entrance to the side, and a little bit more privacy as well, because we split the balconies. So you don't necessarily have to talk to the neighbor if you don't want to, but you can of course go around if you would like. And moving into the room itself, these are brand new beds and frames and new design with the throw pillows and the standard pillows in the back there. And then you can also see the kitchenette unit that we renovated, and we'll get to in a second. Also, we added a working desk with a charging station, so you have USB and also Type-C there as well, right below the television. And that's for anybody who wants to get some work done, especially those work from home people. And this is a wider view of the room. And I just want to make note of the AC, because these used to be fan cooled rooms, and now we inputted, got rid of the louver windows. And so now it's completely sealed up, if you will, with, as far as the windows go, brand new windows. And also want to bring attention to the ceilings. So the ceilings used to be flat, and now we brought them up to an apex to give a little bit more room and make it feel a little bit more spacious, but still maintain the coziness. And also bringing some more attention to the far right corner of the kitchenette that we have, and we'll get to that in a second, and also the newly renovated bathroom. So we basically gutted this entire place. Even the floor tiles are brand new as well. And this is another angle of the bed, and just want to bring some attention to the LED bed frame, as well as the embedded nightstands and lamps, and another view of the kitchenette, I should say. And as you can see, it has basically all the utensils and tools that you might need to cook a meal. Included is a mini fridge there down on the left, and a hot plate, coffee maker, ice bucket, all the knives and utensils that you may need to small family, not necessarily Thanksgiving dinner, but you can definitely chef it up in there, especially if you're staying for an extended period of time. This might be a perfect type of accommodation for you. And that essentially is the kitchen. And now moving on to the bathroom. And as I mentioned before, like floor to ceiling, new floor tiles, new ceiling tiles. We got the LED frame around the mirror just to give a little bit more lights. We changed out the square louver windows for the ship window, I guess you can call it. And we got the rainfall shower head and the glass frame shower door. Even the towel holders, those are all new. And again, trying to bring together everything in the room, the kitchenette, and to complete the cottage experience, if you will. So very happy and proud of how this was done, and really wanted to give a modern look and feel to this new room category, the cottage. And so also with this wide angle, want to bring attention to the closet. So you got some drawer space there, and you got some hanging space as well, and your safe, of course, and the ironing board is on the other side in between the closet and the window there. And yeah, another angle of the room, and also want to bring attention to that long standing mirror there, so full frame mirror. And that essentially is the bungalow. And this is kind of our way of paying homage to my dad and where he started from with this hotel, Travelers Beach Resort. Started right with one bungalow and grew to the 60-room resort that Travelers Beach Resort is now. And my dad hasn't seen it as yet physically. I think he's seen pictures and everything like that. So just want to share this renovation with you all. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. So back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, we are back. Okay, so we got to hop on a call in a little bit, but let's get back to the questions that I have here. Thanks for everybody for hanging out. All right. Herlin Jones, I guess this is for me, says, "Good evening, Mr. Throp. I would like to come to your guest house. I would like to know what the cost of 3-night stay is." I would say go to our website, but basically you're looking from anywhere from $100 US per night up to $200 per night, depending on the type of room category that you choose. But I'll put the website in there. So it's tbr.travel, or you can also call the front desk if you have any questions. Well, thank you for the inquiry. And then ask, where is the Montego Bay Beach Park? That's Harmony Park, right? Yeah, you have it right. David Scott says Negril needs a modern mall or movie theater. Yeah, I agree. Then I think this is what we were talking about earlier about opportunity. Like and also when you think about when we talk about like Negril, Jamaica not reaching its full potential, and you also mentioned that, which makes so much sense, that government lags behind private sector investment. And when you start, there was this post I wanted to share, but there is this guy who basically, this realtor, let me see if I could find it, but he is a realtor. I just saw it on Twitter and I screenshot it, but he posted a picture of Starbucks, and he says, anytime one of these comes in town, we invest because we like their research. And basically saying that they're not going to invest in a losing territory or location. And so I think, yes, that applies for Starbucks, but I also think that applies for when you see an area just bringing in entrepreneurs and bringing in businesses. And I look at a place like Negril, which I hear a Starbucks is coming. I don't know that's a factual statement, but like you're hearing rumors. And so huge asterisks next to that. But I mean, once stuff like that comes in, it just kind of tells you, like, kind of look out. I do want to bring up, have you know about Jam West Beach?
No.
Jam West, Jam West is it's like an adventure park in Little London. So I'm bringing up the map here. We talked about this on, I believe, last Thursday, maybe even Sunday, sorry. And so they own an adventure park in Little London. So it's the same road that we went down for
Yeah.
West Isle.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you keep going, they're the ones who did the West Isle development. So they're
Oh.
super diversified in their businesses that they're doing. So now they have Jam West Beach Park. Yeah, okay, I got it right. And so this is on the northern part of Negril. So this is the 5 mile strip here. So as you go up to where the all inclusives are, this used to be the old Island Lux. And I look at what they're doing. I just lost it. Here it is. I look at what they're doing. Let me see if they have any pictures up here that we can share. Unfortunately, no, I'm not seeing any pictures. But the stuff that they have coming, and like I said this on Sunday, I hate to tease it like this because I just don't know if I can talk about it. The owners gave us a tour of the property and just showed us the vision of what they're going to be doing. And I could tell you, and I'll tell you after we get off air here, the product that they're bringing to the table, there's nothing like it in Jamaica.
Wow.
I've actually never heard of what they're going to be doing. They said they've already flown the experts to measure things out, and it's going to happen. And they're bringing a product to Negril that if somebody is deciding, should I go to Montego Bay or should I go to Negril, this is going to bring you to Negril because I have to experience this. Thinking about, should I go to Mexico or should I go to Jamaica? Should I go to Negril? This is something that's going to tip you over the edge. And I'm not like exaggerating at all.
Wow.
Like I said, I've never heard of this or seen something like this. And it's a great location, perfect for this because it's a narrow location, but it's long and it's not the greatest place to I would say it's probably not a good place at all to, like, if you were to do like housing or anything like that,
right.
to have, but for a standalone restaurant, and they're going to do like a coffee shop there as well. And they're doing Cafe Blue is going to be going there. So it's going to be, like it was explained to me, like it's a place that you could come out, especially in the digital nomad age that we're in. You could hang out all day, be on your computer, do your work at the cafe, take a break, go on the beach, chill out. Very, very nicely done. We're actually going to be working with them. I think next week actually for stuff with the channel. So I'm really excited with that, and hopefully we'll be able to let people know what's going on with that. So my point is this, like, that when they finish doing what they're doing, it's gonna, like, people are gonna think it's like, okay, it's drawing this. They believe in this product in this area so much.
That's right.
And so other businesses of this nature, I think it was David was talking about doing a movie theater, like it's going to spur more people to come here. But now we need the people to live here, like, so we need places for these people to live, and it's, to me, it's no longer a chicken or the egg situation. Like, we need housing.
That's it.
We need housing. Like, we need housing to support these businesses, because, like, once these town amenities are here, it's going to, it's certain things are just going to become the standard, and then people are just going to be, like, very proud to say, like, this is my town, and I get to experience this any day of the week. And so I think what they're doing again is going to attract a lot more different types of investors to the community.
Wow. And as I said earlier, when it comes down to infrastructure, there's hardly anywhere that infrastructure can't be brought.
Mm-hmm.
But the natural beauty of the landscape, you can't change that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, for instance, you can see, as regards infrastructure, the Middle East, people in Dubai, shows that you can bring infrastructure literally anywhere.
Yep.
But when the infrastructure is brought into somewhere with a beautiful landscape like Negril does, beautiful beaches like Negril has, then you have both. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And as you rightfully said, when it comes down to companies like Starbucks and those multinational organizations, they are going to do their due diligence before they invest in a region. So some of these things can be used as indicators. And so for persons who are looking to invest in real estate for profit, um, these are some of the things that you look at. And that's why a lot of time persons come and they say, boy, just like, a couple of persons made mention about just now about missing the Richmond estate,
Mm-hmm.
that opportunity, because essentially they were not looking at the indicators. They weren't listening to, testing the wind, so to
Right.
speak. And if you don't, then you're going to be one of the persons buying the same thing that you could have gotten for a quarter of the price, for 450,000
Right.
US
Right.
dollars.
Right. Okay, a few more questions here. Swoldy is asking, how much is an acre going for in the west end of Negril?
Probably I would have to get that. I'd have to check and get
Mm-hmm.
back to you. I don't know a lot of sales here in the grill, so I
Right.
could get the information to you. You have my information. You could just reach out to me on WhatsApp or email, and I can get the information to you soonest.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I don't know that either. Yeah, sorry, can't comment on that. But I mean, there are two properties there for sale, and so one of them is somewhere west, and it's going for. And I'm working with the owner and the realtor for that, and that's going for 1.8 million. I could show you now, actually.
Land?
No, um, it's a hotel.
Okay. Now, what's the acres like? You remember?
I feel like it's just guessing, maybe an acre.
Okay.
No. It's more than an acre. It's more than I feel like it's more than an acre. And she just sent me the video, but I have to check on the music. uh Let me see if I could bring it up what it looks like. But it's a beautiful property. I know the owner, and she doesn't want to sell, but she's selling because she no longer lives here, and it's just hard to manage
Mm.
um, while she's away. This is the web. Okay, let me just show the website. So yeah, this is their website, so you could check it out. But it's basically like villa style, nice pool, beautiful view, beautiful view. Let's see if we can see some photos here. I'm just kind of scrolling through. It's a shame. It doesn't have the view, but you get the idea. And then then Divine Destiny is for sale, which is they're going for 3 point. I just did the video. I think it's 3.2 or 3 million. And that's before. So somewhere west is Deep West End, and then Divine Destiny and that's 11 acres.
Okay.
That's 11
That's a
acres
good.
going for
That's a good
three. But
size property.
4 acres is developed, 6 acres is undeveloped. 7 acres is undeveloped. Yeah.
But it's the same land.
Yeah. Same land, which you can do a lot with, and I talk about it on the video we're releasing on Saturday. So I hope that helps. Sorry, we can give you more specific information. MDL says a surveyor charged me $65,000 to resurvey a less than quarter acre of land in St. Thomas. He says it will take 3 to 4 months to get the report from NLA. Is this reasonable for the cost and time frame?
I don't want to comment on what the cost is for surveying because that's not my profession. Normally, I think when it comes down to surveying and valuation, it is based on the value of the lot of the property. I think and the size. There has to. It's not usual that it would take so long. The
Mm-hmm.
time frame, unless there's some special situation surrounding that lot. But I know when it comes down to like a service lot that already has a title and a subdivisional plan in the title's office, usually within about 2 weeks. So 2 months, unless there's some special issue with that.
Gotcha.
So, but I could. Well, you did the survey already, or if you haven't, you can contact me. I could help you get somebody. I could even get the information from the title's office for you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so feel free to reach out, MDL. Chris B says, "Do you know if West Isle Development has available units?" As far as I know, they do. Sorry. I haven't heard otherwise. I actually just sent some folks there just last week, as a matter of fact. I'm just going to their website to see. I'll share the screen with you so you all can see. So this is West Isle Development. This is in Little before Little London. So they have 27 units or lots. Units, I don't know what you call them. But it looks like they do. It looks like they have 2-bedroom option starting at 203,000. 3-bedroom is sold out. So just according to the website, it seems like they have 2 bedrooms available. This is on Old Hope Road. Okay, it is Little London, Westmoreland. So it's before downtown Little London, I guess. Yep, gated community, pretty nice. We toured here during ThropX, which was a very nice place, as you can see, very modern. Sorry if I'm moving too fast for y'all. But this is 15 minutes outside of Negril. And so this is kind of like the best place that I've been sending people right now, based on what we were saying earlier in terms of there being really almost no inventory here. Janice, do Jamaican developments charge impact fees to cover the cost of new roads and sewage? If they don't, would that be a good way to make those things happen?
I've never heard of it. I know there are cases where like a development is connecting to the sewer. If it's not like at the gate or by the road where the development is happening, they are sometimes allowed to like cut the road.
Mm-hmm.
In one case, I think Upper Waterloo, they were like, I don't know, 400 feet away from. So they were allowed to dig, connect to the sewer, and fix back the road. And I think that is monitored. As regards an impact fee, I've never heard of something like that. So I don't even know.
Okay. Yeah. I can't comment on that either. I never heard of it either.
I'm sure that's probably, I mean, with all of the government fees that are required to do a development, I'm sure that, those things are factored in. I would hope.
All right. I think these comments are getting mixed up. I think I'm getting some of them late. All right. I just found the Somewhere West video. I think I can play this. Let me see if I can. Hold on, it's processing. It's going to show you all. I also, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I put up a survey that I would really appreciate y'all's help with, which is about not a survey. Like, I have 2 openings for the video that we're dropping on Saturday, and I'm just trying to canvas everybody and get their feedback on which one they like best. And right now, like, it's like I've just been checking my phone. It's like 50-50. Let me see right now. 51-49 dead heat. And so I feel like you all know the content the best, and I would like to get your feedback. So if you don't follow me on Instagram already, It's at Throp, THROP. And if you could just go to my stories and just watch the 2 intros that I have there and then vote on one of the 2. And based on that, that's what I'm going to use as an intro for Saturday's intro. And we definitely appreciate that. So yeah, if you just go to my stories on my Instagram, and if you do already follow me, just check that out. All right, let's see if we can play this Somewhere West intro. I mean, Somewhere West video. So I visited the property a couple of months ago at this point. So just take a look. This is
That's the
it's
hotel for sale?
yeah.
Okay.
So this is sorry that's vertical. I made it for on the west end of Negril at a very beautiful property that is for sale. It's actually my friend's place, a good friend of mine, and she's selling it. And we're going to be doing a feature on it on my YouTube channel. And I just want to show you guys around a little bit before we do the shoot. What could be yours. Got ChatGPT right there. Beautiful views here. Let's go out to the pool. It doesn't have any water in it right now. This is a saltwater pool. Yeah, they're gonna fill it up for the shoot that we're gonna be doing soon. I don't know if you can see that. Pretty nice views of the coastline. Let's go up. Let me show you some of the views from upstairs and some of the rooms. All right. Remember these? Not too shabby. So imagine waking up to this every day or going to sleep to this every night. So beautiful, like naturally, you don't even need to do anything. If I had the money, I would buy it. Like this is heaven. And the neighborhood is really awesome as well. But yeah, we're gonna be doing the shoot in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. And going to be working directly with my friend, the owner, on getting this up on the channel, and really excited and proud to be a part of this project. All right, so you have an idea of what that property looks like. That's going for $1.8 million, and I think it's a very good. I think it's a good price, and also because what the maps again. This is where I was like calling like Villa Row, and I don't know if you remember, Noel, like when we were driving there, like I was just showing you like the
Yeah,
like the
that's right.
multiple villas that
That's
was
right.
there.
That's right.
And so there's actually a new one that I forget the name of it, or else I would mention it. But here, this is where Somewhere West is, the video that we just watched. And then along here, like you see like just different private villas that are under construction, and some of them have been complete. And they're beautiful, like absolutely beautiful villas. And what you're really getting there is just like this gorgeous view, as you saw in that video with Somewhere West that we just watched. And it's just a gem. And then back there is just it's still Negril, but it's just a very, very different vibe. Like super quiet,
It is.
super, even chiller than the normal Negril is, if you will. So yeah, it's a great location. And then it's next to this other villa called Ripple. I believe they're open. Let's see. I'm almost certain. Okay, there you go. You see the picture. Beautiful villa. This is right next to Somewhere West. So this is your neighbor. Let's see if I can scroll through. That's from the sea. I guess there's only 2 pictures here. But you get the idea. Sorry, there's not more pictures. But it's a beautiful modern villa. I've never been inside. or anything like that. I don't know who owns it or anything, but from what I've seen, it looks like they did like a really, really awesome job. And then you can see on the right there, that's somewhere west. So yeah, you get the idea though. You get the idea. 1.8 million US dollars, Shayna. Yeah. All right, a few more questions. We're gonna actually start closing out here. I didn't even realize we're an hour and a half. Philip Beckford says, "Do you have a good sum of money to? I guess do you need a good sum of money to become a realtor, or is it an easy process?"
No, it's actually very cheap and easy process. Like the course you have to do a real estate training course with the real estate board. You have to do that. Once you do that and you pass the exam, I think the cost of that is like about 500 US dollars. Course itself. I think it runs like 2 or 3 months. Once you do that and you pass successfully, then you go through the process of doing a police report, a bankruptcy report, and stuff like that. And once all of those are cleared, then you apply for your license. So the entire process with the course and the licensing is less than $1,000 US.
Okay.
It's just pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think so. And then you get to sell real estate all over Jamaica, and that's all over Jamaica, right?
All over Jamaica.
Okay, fantastic.
Small.
Natalie Holmes says, Somewhere West was such a beautiful spot. My only time visiting was March 5th, 2020, and had a really nice time. Unfortunately, the owner has to sell it. Yeah, great property. It really is.
We should buy it then.
Right. Make it happen, Natalie. Prime Social says, I'm looking for a reasonable pool builder. Do you know a pool builder?
Pool building?
Pool builder.
Oh, pool builder.
Yeah.
Can't say though. I could check.
Okay.
Here in the grill?
Where are you looking, Prime Social, for that pool builder? I'm not sure. We'll see what they say. I'm not sure if it's a she or he. Shayna Love Coaching says, what's the name of the site for real estate and what's a good place to start studying?
So you can just Google Jamaica Real Estate Board. So they have their own website, and once you go on, so the courses are usually pre-booked. So like for now, you probably can't get in for the rest of the year. So you're probably looking at mid next year, because there are quite a few persons, both international and locally, who are now applying. So you go on and you can just apply. I think they still have online courses as well. So before we had only face-to-face, but since COVID, all the classes went online. And I still think both are available.
Okay.
Yeah. They can just Google Jamaica Real Estate Board, and I think continuous learning are one of the tabs on it, but you can mess around with the website, you'll find it. Okay. Or doing real estate course or something like that. Just Google something like
that. Prime Social, this is about the pool builder. They're looking for one in Montego Bay.
Oh, I could check. I know some people who do construction in Montego Bay, so you could reach out to me as well with my information on the description.
Yeah, if you scroll up a little bit, Prime Social, Noel's information's there. But I'll put it in after we finish the video. I'll put it in the description for anybody who's watching on the replay. All right, we're going to start wrapping up here. But Paulette Nelson says, unfortunately, I cannot attend ThropX. We are coming in December and hope to view a few properties with a realtor at that time. Sorry, I came late and cannot remember the guest realtor's name. This is Noel. Yeah. Sorry, we're going to miss you. It's going to be a good one. And I think closing out, we can, I guess, talk a little bit about ThropX 2000. Well, the ThropX in general, and let people know what's going on. And
I think like just the like first of all, it's the first time I was at a conference like that personally. And I must confess to you, I didn't really know you could have pulled it off. So from the time we discussed it as an idea, and you were saying like, I have this idea based on the website or based on the channel, to do a conference because of the question that person's asked. But between the time it was just an idea and actually pulling it off, I must lift my hat to you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And then it was proper. You know, it
Mhm.
was done. People had a great time, from the speakers all the way to that nice party at the end. It was a really good conference. But I think it was not just one of those conferences. Is like sometimes you go to a conference and it's a money making thing.
Mhm.
I think one of the things that ThropX does is it gives real, tangible, useful information. So coming out of ThropX Monday, you have information to use the next day. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think that's one of the things that people like about it. I think there are more locals talking about it this year. A
Mhm.
lot of persons say they want to be a part of it, they want to attend. So I think the numbers are going to swell a lot more than what they were last year. But it was really an exciting time. And one of the things that I think ThropX has, and the channel in general, is trust. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? People understand that you're sincere, and that the information that you're putting out there, you're not trying to sway one way or the other.
Right.
But whatever it is, this is what it is, and this is the information that we're communicating, and that's important. And I remember coming out of the conference, this guy called me from Georgia, I think it was, and he was saying, "Noel, I was watching the video, and when you were talking about persons who haven't been to Jamaica in decades, he said at the time he had not been to Jamaica in either 21 or 28 years.
Wow.
Like he said, my home is calling me. I want to come back home." So there are a lot of Jamaicans who have left and have not. So they don't know the widening of Constant Spring Road and the new highways and none of that. So the Jamaica that they left, or Jamaica looked like in the 1990s.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I think the channel is very unique, and hence the conferences,
Mhm.
same flavor. So yeah, and I think a lot of the persons who came last year are also excited. A lot of them are reaching out to me, and they're excited to be back.
Awesome.
So yeah.
That was like one of the main things. Like if I had a worry going into last year, it was just how do I over deliver on the value, and like in every aspect, one from the information and education that everybody would get based on the speakers who were coming. And I would say the most confidence that I had was in the people who were coming. I knew
Yeah.
everybody who was going to hit that stage was going to deliver because 90% of them were already on the show.
Okay.
And so yourself included, like I knew that you could speak from a place and perspective of not only confidence, but most importantly, authority. And that's what everybody did on that stage.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't worry about at all.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, how do the logistics work? And then it's like I knew I wanted it to be a premium event.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure that it was a premium event. And like this is what it's being sold as.
Good.
Like this is a premium event in every way possible. The branding, the merch, the experience. And like what also made it a premium event was the people. Honestly, like the people who came. And that's one thing that like I just couldn't anticipate.
Yeah.
And I'd be lying if I said that I did, was the quality of the attendees.
Yeah.
And I'm just so like proud of this community that we built, and the Throp
Mhm.
community. And I didn't realize, and I didn't even know what that was going to be like. You meet people like individually who come up and say hello, and we'll have a conversation. But then to get all those people in the same room under the same roof, it was just like the energy was amazing.
It was
really, really amazing. And it was like this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like closing. Like it was like this subtle powerfulness. I don't know how to describe it.
It was, and I think, I mean, you ever done something like that before?
Never.
No, and it was funny. Like after day 1 or 2, it's like almost everybody at the conference knew each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
It became this real tight, close user group kind of feeling that we knew who was going to make trouble, who was going to ask questions, and who's going to be funny.
Yeah,
it felt that way, and we started to anticipate seeing each other.
Right.
So it's not one of those conferences that you go and there are 10 speakers. I want to see these 3, and then I can't go about business. Everybody wanted to be there for the entire thing.
Right.
That was the feeling. But yeah, it was a premium event.
And like what was also important, what I knew is that like because it was close knit, I wanted everybody had to know each other. Everybody had to know everybody. And like from the first day when we started, everybody was like kind of like just to themselves and isolated and introverted, which I understood. And then by the end, like you said, everybody was together, and then like everybody, we knew the characters of the group, you know, and everybody had their own personalities, and like you said, there was anticipation for certain things, and it became like super fun and funny, like right through. And so I want the same for this year. Like it's gonna be bigger, for sure, because like even just the chatter that like I'm picking up with like inquiries at the hotel, the emails that I'm getting, the DMs that I'm getting, it's great. It's a really good feeling, like this compared to last year. Because if you remember last year, you wouldn't have known. Well, maybe you would have known. I was still, what's today, the 10th? I was still on set filming the dating show.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
So
right. That's right.
I didn't have a team. I didn't have Candice. I didn't have Afrika. I didn't have Ramon. I didn't have Celindian. It was like me by myself, still like, I can still do this.
The transition to all of getting some staff members.
I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like if I didn't hire Candice, like I don't think this would have been like. There's no way I could have pulled it off at the level that we accomplished.
Amashika was awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. She made it, and she's confirmed. We're going to be doing some press. Well, I'm going to be doing some press, but like I didn't even ask her, but like I want her to do it with me, leading up to it. And I'm also scared of doing the press too, because, like you said, like even now on the channel, like I used to, like when I look at the analytics, it used to be like 8 to 11% of the viewers were from Jamaica. Now it's 30%. It grew tremendously. You know, it's 3x what it used to be, and now a lot more Jamaican. And these are Jamaicans in Jamaica, that are watching it. So, you know, I'm still weighing. And I guess I'll have to make a decision by the end of this month whether we're going to do this press tour that we have as part of our strategy, because it could, you know, I don't want to, like, number one priority is the subscribers, you know, that's right. You know, opening it up to the public like that, because I haven't done any advertising either. It's like everything is from this channel. Every conversation is from the live streams, and so like to have this kind of chatter from, again, compared to last year, it's, I mean, it's hard to say it's double or whatever it is, but there's definitely an uptick, and I will make a decision by the end of the month, like if we're going to go through this with this press tour, because I don't want to, because it's for our community, it's for my YouTube channel, you all the subscribers. This is not. I never really wanted it to be like this public thing. Kind of, it's public, but you know what I'm saying. Like it's really for the community,
and be deliberate about making it more about the quality than quantity. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that was communicated with the last conference. You know, and I mean, it doesn't, like it was. I was talking to Amashika this week, and I was saying, can you imagine 1 year has run off already? I mean, we still, when you talk to the persons who you met at the conference, it still feels like it's just 3 months ago. I mean, it still feels like it was that close. Like 1 year has actually run off.
It's
already.
Crazy.
So, but it was really a fun time. It was really educational. A lot of persons learned a lot of things. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, things like the Throp channel is feeding into a need. You know what I mean? As I was alluding to earlier, I think a lot of the persons who have not been here for a long time, who get a lot of their information from the traditional news, are misinformed. You know what I mean? Because if you only get 10% of what happened, then you're missing 90% of what happened. And sensationalism, unfortunately, is what sells when it comes on to traditional media. So a lot of people just go for the sensationalism. So when you get a good cross section, I mean, when you go on the channel, it's a good cross section of just different things, people, different perspective, different needs, different businesses, different experiences. So I give you a good cross section of really what's happening. And therefore, if you're making decisions, when it comes on to real estate, making decision, you want accurate information. When it comes on to any investment, you want accurate information. Sensationalism is going to either scare you away or cause you to, you know, invest where you're not ought to. So I think that's one of the things that people appreciate about it. You know what I mean? The information was accurate. They had hands-on experience, and as the information was usable.
Yeah,
So,
and want to continue to go down that path, and we've extended it like an additional 2 days, so it's now 5 full days,
okay.
and just getting good speakers, getting good speakers and listening to just information, I guess, feedback that we've been getting in terms like this year in terms of what types of information that people are looking for, and a lot of it has to do with like it's heavy real estate, there's no question about it, but there's also a lot of information that people are looking for in respect to immigration.
Okay.
And so people are looking like, how do I get my permanent residency? How do I get my Jamaican passport? How do I get my Jamaican citizenship? And there's a lot of people like and I bet, these people probably stop following me, but there are like so many people who DM'd me like a while back on Instagram, and I just lost them. There's just so many came in that I just couldn't reply to, but they were just like, how do I get all this information? So Pika is going to be there.
And is there any consideration of having like a booth for like Pika that would allow for sign up on spot? Or
so that's one thing. Like I wanted to do a version of this last year, but now this year I think might actually necessitate it, where we can. So even like Valerie Levy and Associates, right? I would want somebody like have a booth that is manned by that. So like if somebody has any needs specific information about purchasing land or whatever, anything that has to do with real estate,
paperwork on
they can start right there. Same thing with these brokerages. I don't know if it's possible. Can they do that offsite with a laptop? Because we had a few people open up brokerage accounts last year, but they had to go to the bank. They had to bring this. And so I want to also prepare people as much as possible to bring and have these documents.
Okay.
So like right on the spot, if you want to open up a capital markets account, that you're able to do that with the professional right there. And like they would be at that booth the whole entire week.
Sense.
So I want people to be and get like as specific as they humanly possibly can about their situation, and to figure out whatever challenges that they are having specifically, that during ThropX that can be resolved. That's or right. At least know the path forward, or know the person that's going to help them overcome whatever hurdle that they're facing in trying to accomplish whatever dream that they have. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, we want to have those booths set up and ready to go so that people can have the specific questions about citizenship and this and that. They can fill that paperwork out right there and like at least get the process started. So I think we're gonna leave it there. We've been almost 2 hours. I thought we were gonna do an hour today, man. Sorry, I didn't even mean that. Julie for Justice says, many thanks, Noel and Throp. Great information. I am so excited to attend ThropX in November. Awesome.
Right.
We're excited to see you as well, Julia. And we're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna end with the ThropX trailer one more time. Thank you for joining. We got the Divine Destiny video dropping on Saturday, so look out for that. We'll be back here again on Sunday for our usual live stream at 12 p.m. Jamaica time, and wishing you guys a great rest of the week. And one more time for the ThropX trailer. See you soon. Peace. Thank you, Noel, for joining. Much appreciated.
Always.
Yeah, much appreciated. All right, take care, everybody.
Hey.
There's been so much interest in the economic boom that's been happening in Jamaica, both on the investment side and also as a place to move to. Let me tell you about a conference that might help you with this stuff. ThropX is a 5-day Jamaica investment conference that takes place from November 13th to November 17th at the beautiful Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, Jamaica. This includes 2 full days of expert panel presentations on all aspects of moving to and investing in Jamaica. This includes the brightest minds in the Jamaican real estate market, certified financial advisors from the most prestigious financial groups in Jamaica, banking professionals from the most esteemed banking institutions in Jamaica, among others. If you are thinking about moving to Jamaica, this conference is the perfect opportunity to have direct access to not only individuals who have achieved your dream of moving to Jamaica, but you'll also be among like-minded conference goers who are also trying to move to Jamaica. In addition, there will be one full day dedicated to touring both residential and commercial real estate for sale in the greater Negril area to give you a tangible idea of the real estate landscape in Jamaica. There will be exclusive properties for sale on this tour that you will not find listed anywhere else. If you are even remotely considering moving to or investing in Jamaica, this is the conference for you. This is the best way to dip your toe in the water of figuring out whether Jamaica is the right place for you to invest and to live. For more information, please visit ThropX.com and join our mailing list. I look forward to seeing you in November.